Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right.
Voice now, that's great. Now I have a voice to the face.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Your name, how do you pronounce it? Fiore? Is it
It's obviously Fiore, but everybody calls
Fiore?
it Fiore, Fiore, but either way is fine.
Fiore di Rosa.
Yes.
It's an
I
Italian
know. Yeah, a little bit,
name.
That's not because when
Where,
I went to
where in
Italy,
Italy?
my relatives went, Fiore, well, Fiore. What's your
Fiore.
middle name? I said, Anthony, Antonio.
How do you get Antonio from Fiore?
That's my middle name.
Oh, that okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, there you go. So, so what part of Italy is your family from?
actually all four grandparents are from Avellino. Uh,
Avellino.
Around
Oh,
the
okay.
Prato
Above
area.
Naples, right?
Yeah,
Is
yep.
that, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I know a few
I
people.
have I have family in Umbria too, in Cascata di Terni.
Oh,
Actually, that's what these are right here.
ah,
I've got a couple of bronzes of Terni.
oh,
There you go.
oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So last time I was there, my cousin is works in bronze and he made them for me.
I see you made your bed for the
Yeah,
show.
well, I have that there just in case if I get a little tired, I'm up in age. I might have to take a nap and then come back. Yeah, this is my second bedroom in my office.
Okay, gotcha. So I see that you are an award-winning director, producer
Mhm.
of the brainwashing of my dad. I want to know
Yeah.
a little bit of that.
Well, actually, that's my I've directed 3 films. My first one was a 45-minute uh, movie, which was called Distraction. It was a narrative film, and I don't know why I didn't make the feature. It was my first film, so I wasn't thinking. I cut it down to 45 instead of adding 25 minutes.
Uh,
Um, and then the second one
that's
was
right in the middle.
yeah,
That's
I
a
know,
little too long for for short festival and too short for
or
feature.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
But it did really well. And then the second one, I made a feature-length documentary called "The Vanishing City," which was about New York City. Won a lot of awards. It was about displacement, about how the city became this global city and a wealthy city, and how the middle class and the poor and small businesses were being pushed out, and why we got into why underneath it happened. And then the brainwashing of my dad and Erica Hampson, who worked with Catherine Irby from Criminal Intent. She was our executive producer, um, helped us out on that. And then we went, the person I directed that film with, Jen Senko, worked on a film called The Brainwashing of My Dad, which is about her father, who was a middle of the road Kennedy Democrat. And in the 80s, he moved down to Maryland. And when he was in New Jersey, he was carpooling. He moves to Maryland, and now he's by himself, and he gets in the car and he starts listening to talk radio, to Bob Grant and all these people. And all of a sudden, he became his whole mind perspective changed. And then, as he got even older, he became more and more rigid and started arguing with people, sending these nasty political emails, and people saying, please stop. So it was all about his transformation, and then there's an arc to it in the end. There's another transformation, which is great. And Matthew Modine was the executive producer on that, and
wow,
he did the
very
narration.
nice.
Yeah, it was great. It was really wonderful. And I actually went in towards the end of it because she had put together all of these great interviews with Noam Chomsky and all these different people. And had this 3-hour film that she had to cut down because the producer was coming in, and she called me in, and I came in more as a creative producer, writer, and script consultant, and we sat down and we cut it down an hour and a half, adding animations, making it look really interesting, using these Skype interviews, which were great as personal stories, and then creating a dual narration where Matthew Modine had the overall narration, sort of an unbiased narration, and her personal narration. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. And it turned out to be a terrific film.
Wow, I want to see that for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, you definitely should watch it. It's
Amazing.
great.
Yeah. That's so great that, you have, I mean, all I saw were your scripts. So I didn't see any of your films, right? So I'm like, wow, he writes a lot. I wonder if he's done anything, any of them actually. And now you mentioned, oh, you just dropped, mic drop Matthew Modine, you know?
But it's
That's
kind of
cool.
interesting because when when I started writing, I actually the first thing I did as an artist was as a kid I wrote a journal, and I wrote continually. And then I started to sing and I got into musical groups, and I was kind of a shy kid. And then I started acting, doing musicals because I sang, and then going to regular plays, doing, comedies, Shakespeare, and regular, dramas. And then I ran a couple of
A lot
theater
of things
companies.
that you just mentioned. It's a little of this and that and everything.
Yeah, it's,
Shakespeare,
it's, this, I'll tell you, I started ran a couple of theater companies, started directing theater, and that's how I got them film. A friend of mine said to me, I want to make a short film. Will you help me? I said, well, let's just write something and do it. And that's how I started writing again. And that was 14 years ago. So that brought me back to writing. And as Zoo's story, there's a saying, sometimes you go a long distance out of your way in order to come back a short distance correctly.
Mhm.
Well, I found out in my, really deep here, I'm a writer because everything else I've done, I loved, but it seemed like work. Writing, I just get up. I can't wait to write in the morning. And even when it's work, it doesn't feel like work. I
Wow,
just love it. And it just comes to me. It's really great.
that's
So in my old age, I've found what I really
why
want
you
to do.
keep saying you're old. You're not up in years. You're old. You still you're very young. You don't look old. Don't say that. You'll feel old if you say that you're old. We're young forever.
I'm too immature to feel that way.
There you go. Oh, to what? To feel young? So, wow. So, do you have for any of the scripts that you're doing now? Do you have anything that looks like it's going to go to?
Well, it's interesting. Jersey Fellini, it came real close to being made.
Ah,
Yeah, and they were talking about Harvey Keitel and a couple other people.
wow. Name
But
drop.
oh well, yeah, it didn't work out. So,
Oh,
and then I had the producers go, well, horror sells. Hey, you have any horror? And I said, well, I'll write horror. I mean, if I got to make something, I'll write horrors. So I
oh,
wrote four
right.
scripts. I
And
actually
you
wrote
know
four
that
scripts
they've
in
been
the
looking
last few
for
years. Yeah.
horror. A lot of the investors were looking for horror this past
Yeah.
year. I know.
But I found, but I actually enjoyed it
Yeah,
because I said, okay, I'm going to write
I
horror.
can do write horror. That's
Yeah.
one
How would I write horror? And I thought, well, I always loved Twilight Zone. I always loved Night Gallery and all of these shows,
like sci-fi, right?
X-Files. Yeah, so I write sort of psychological horror. So I thought, oh, wow, let me get into that. Let me try this. And then bring in my life because I've got, Italian American, come from a heavy Italian American neighborhood. My parents spoke Italian fluently,
Where,
both
where
of them.
you? Where are you?
I grew up right outside of Newark, a place
Oh,
called Orange, New Jersey.
I know.
Um, you
I'm in
know,
Milwaukee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you know Orange.
I
Yeah, and my parents both spoke Italian fluently. All my uncles and aunts spoke Italian fluently. The whole neighborhood, parents spoke Italian. It was predominantly Italian, and then partially African American. So I had this really cool influence, and and I thought, you know, all this with 12 years of Catholic school. Robert Rodriguez said, use your toolkit. That's my toolkit. I got to use that when I write. And it's fun because I could, bring all that into the scripts.
Of course, yeah. I mean, with Hellgate, what inspired you to write that?
Well, I actually moved in with my girlfriend in Astoria, which is not far from the Hellgate area. So I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
But I was thinking about something to write. It was my first horror script, and I thought, good and evil. And I thought about Lucifer. And Lucifer's called the angel of light. And I thought, angel of light. All right, what if we take that and we spin that and take it from a different angle. Who Lucifer really is, and what hell really represents. So I thought, let me write that. And then I got into Catholicism, and I thought about sacrifice, because sacrifice is one of the foundations of Catholicism. Christ sacrificed himself for the sins of the world. The martyrs, and I use 42 of them in this script, sacrificed themselves because they believed in Catholicism, and they would give their lives for what they believed, for God. And then I thought about the lead character, Nev, who is a woman. I wanted to sort of have a complex character who has, who has horrible things happen to her in her life. She's abused by her father, and because of that, she's a fighter, and she feels like she has to protect people, so she becomes a cop. But because of that, she has this hard shell, and she's not open to anything except for her job, and she doesn't invest. She invests in her job and helping people, and against criminals and crime, and her family. She's there to fight for them. But I thought it would be great for her to have this arc where she actually has to really sacrifice something, put everything on the line for what she believes in. And that's really what brought me to that.
Was
And then
there,
I
was
wanted to set it on this brother island. What's that?
I'm sorry, was there a person that inspired this character?
No.
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 Oh, completely made up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a place called North Brother Island, which is right south of just south of the Bronx, in the East River, going up to the Sound, and a lot of things happened there. That's where they had the tuberculosis unit for where Typhoid Mary was back in the early 19th century. We had the worst maritime disaster ever happened there, right outside there, where these German immigrants from the Lower East Side were going up to Sandy Point or something like that, up in the, spend a day. And it was a paddle boat that caught fire, and I think 1,300 people died, 1,200 people died that day, and ended up on the shores of North Brother Island. So I thought, this is a great place to set this, and the name Hellgate, so that's where that all came from.
Wow. That is, yeah, I like your mind.
It's deranged, but it's a bit deranged, but
But you have to be a writer. You have to be out there a little bit, you have to have so much imagination.
Yeah.
Everything that you're writing has to be coming straight out of your head. So deranged could be good.
Yeah. all artists are a bit, you got to be out there.
All artists are. I am. And then you have the other one is evil. No evil.
Insight.
Evil insight.
It's either evil insight.
No evil insight.
Or evil insight. I actually left it that way because it has a double meaning. It's evil insight, but it's also evil insight.
Insight.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's about a guy who has telepathic abilities, and that starts with a. I deal with, it's funny. I wrote this script specifically because I want to direct it, because I figured, all right, it's time to direct again. I'm going to write a low budget script with limited locations, and most of the locations I can get for free. And then I wanted to deal with a character that had, it's about redemption. It's about a guy who has a second chance, and it's a cop, again, with a serial killer. As in, I didn't bring that up with Hellgate. They think it's a serial killer, but it's not. And 10 years before, he had to make a split decision, because this woman, he was tracking this killer, and he's almost got him. He's abducted this girl, and he has to make a split decision, doesn't call for backup, and he loses her. So this really affects his career and affects him personally. 10 years later, this is where this starts. It's a 10-year anniversary, and it starts with the mother pleading in an interview on TV. Whoever took her, either release her or please let me have the body. And the next day, the police department gets this letter, which basically says, "I know where she is." And he thinks, all right, we've got tons of crank letters. I mean, come on. I mean, this is I'm going to go out in the middle of the New York woods, and I'm going to try and track this body down. The guy goes, go check it out. His sergeant. He goes with his partner, he checks out, and he finds the body. Now they have to figure out if it's her, and it is her. So when they find this out, they have to go through forensics, and they have two brothers called the Brothers Grimm, Marco and Rico Grimaldi, and they're the forensics experts. And they noticed that there's a map that was downloaded from the internet, and they said, we can this computer forensics. We might be able to track down where this is located and find out the IP address and find out where it came from. And they do, and they track this strange recluse down. They bring him in, and now they think they have the guy. And then he says to him, look, it wasn't me. He says, I can speak to the dead. And he goes, I can prove it. And then he says, there's someone here, and he brings it to another body and another body. And that's what sends him on this journey. And I don't want to tell you the whole story, but we already know the whole story. But no, and I just I thought that would be really interesting to have that type of psychological, unpredictable journey for people to travel.
Well, I love your writing, and yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell you which is my favorite right now, but I have some other judges too, and we all loved your work.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I try and bring humor into everything, and it's funny because I remember, you remember who Harold Clurman is? Harold Clurman was from the group theater, and he was a director. Harold Clurman with the group theater.
Oh, group theater. Okay.
Yeah, with Kazan and
oh yes,
and
yes.
Stella Adler and Luther Adler.
Yes, of course.
And then he became this great film critic. And what he said was, he had this philosophy: make people laugh, and when their mouths are open, spoon in the medicine. And I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to disarm people. I want to disarm people with humor, and then hit them with things. And that's pretty much how it's one of the fundamentals of how I write, So that's why I always have humor in everything I write.
I love that. I had a little bit of a bout with breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
So what I did was they told me not to be stressed or whatever. So I said, okay, I'm going to turn this around, and now I'm going to make people laugh. And so I wrote a comedy in the middle of it all. I wrote a comedy.
Incredible.
Yeah. And it won like 20 awards, and
wow.
So, and now I became a festival director, 3-time festival. It's just like, whirlwind into what I'm doing now. And I'm really happy because now I am really able to give back, and I'm able to give awards. I'm able, now I have this indie film online magazine, and I'm bringing, it's a magazine. You haven't seen it?
No.
I'm going to send you the link,
because
that's basically where everything is on there now, because I have to bounce back and forth to the Venus website and this, but because I'm doing more on this. And what I'm doing is, first it was a home for my 3 festivals, and now I'm bringing in other festivals, advertising for any filmmaker that wants to advertise and really get their voice heard through their work. Anything that they want. You don't have to win a million awards and hope ask, "Well, could I have an interview with a?" No, you could have it.
Right.
Right now, I'm just charging like $50 a page, and hopefully, I get a lot. It's brand new,
Uh-huh.
so once I get advertisers and everything, I don't have to charge the filmmakers anything, and that's my goal. I want to
That's
do it.
great.
I want to do it for free. I want to, so
And
even
that's really rewarding because you're really helping people.
that's what
And
I want to. We had look filmmakers. We work hard.
yes.
From the
Uh,
writing and the pre-production and the just hoping that it gets made, and
and
you
people
know
don't realize how long it takes.
it's a long process.
Long process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the rewrites and then trying to get investors and this and
Yeah.
know
Investors are the hardest thing.
the hardest. But I always have investors at my film festival, and this is crazy this year, because it wasn't an online film festival
I'm
last
so
year.
disappointed because I was so looking forward to coming down there.
Ah,
Yeah,
I
but
know.
next
Oh,
time.
well, it was the very first Italian film festival ever in Las Vegas last year. So
Wow.
that was really cool. And we had it at the Italian American Social Club where the Rat Pack hung out, where
Wow,
they
that's pretty cool.
performed. It was so cool. I had a Frank Sinatra impersonator and a big band, and it was fantastic. And then this year I was going to do it in Miami, just so that it's a little easier for the Italians, to go to Miami versus going across the country.
Right.
He's gonna have it at the Hard Rock, the new Hard Rock, the
Yeah.
guitar. Yeah, but then this pandemic came about.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, I have to do something. I cannot disappoint people. I still have to have the festival. So here we are.
It's funny. A friend of mine's cousin, really close, has Prime down in South Beach. He owns it. So
Ah,
he's down there all the time. It's a great place. Yeah.
oh,
And
okay.
he's friends with Federico. I saw you had a picture with Federico.
Oh, I know Federico for years.
Yeah, nice guy.
I
Really
met him on The
nice guy.
Sopranos when I was working
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I was an original Bada Bing bartender.
Wow, that's cool. And so that was in North Arlington, right? Or something like that?
Off of 17 at Satin Dolls, where
yeah, exactly.
well, I didn't perform. I was a bartender where the show was. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that was fun times back then. So, well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show, and I hope that you could do the Q&A. Um, we're doing Q&A with the screenwriters too, so everybody gets it. Why not?
Sure.
And this is our award. It was the
Yeah, I
award
saw them.
last year.
That's beautiful.
It was the award last year, and we brought her back again this year because she was very well received. So I want to wish you luck,
Thank
and
you.
thank you so much, and good luck with your films.
Okay, and then you're
Script,
gonna have to tell me which one you like.
you'll know.
Which script? Okay.
You'll find out.
When will we find out? By the way.
Oh, the festival is the
Oh,
6th.
so you're gonna announce it during the festival.
Yeah, it's well, the blocks play, and then on the 8th it'll be announced because it's also a voting process too.
Ah,
So
okay,
people
okay.
are able to vote as well. It's just by like putting, there's a little message bubble on
Right.
the website. The website is indiefilmonline.com.
Oh, okay. I was getting the messages from there. Okay, good.
Yeah,
I'll check
and
that.
there's a little message bubble, easy peasy. You just put the film that you like, and then
Okay.
you could just, there's some really, really good films. Some of the blocks go up to 2.5 hours,
Right.
so yeah.
I noticed you interviewed Anthony Grasso.
Anthony Grasso, I've known for over 30
I
years.
know him too.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
he's a fantastic teacher, director,
Oh, great guy. Great guy.
photographer. How do you know
Do you know
Anthony?
Jimmy Baberi?
Jimmy Barberry?
Yeah,
No.
you're friends with Aida Turturro?
No.
Okay.
Maybe I do by face, but
You will know him. You will know him.
how
He's
do you
famous
know
for
Anthony?
movies through Jimmy.
Oh, okay.
We worked on a couple of films together.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, he's fantastic. Anthony's wonderful.
Yeah. I got one
Yeah.
other question. Prosido.
Hmm?
Prosido.
Proshida.
Prosida.
Proshida.
That's an interesting festival.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that,
that one came about because one of my filmmakers came from Italy, and he last year at the cutting room, and he is from Procida, which is right off it's near
I,
Naples.
yeah, I never even knew that existed. It's a
I didn't
beautiful place.
either until last year, until he invited me there when I went back to Italy. I go
Wow.
there every year because my family's there. So he said, "Come, we'll have lunch." But I mean, a lot of films were made there. You can't believe, like
A
the
Talented Mr.
talented,
Ripley. I looked it
the
up.
talented, and Il Postino.
Oh
The
my
island
God.
is beautiful. Like there, it's a very pretty little island,
Uh-huh.
very small. Um, Kind of looks like Ischia a little bit, but it's different. It's just this small, quaint island. And so he came and he said, "You have to meet the directors of the film festival in Procida." And then he called me and he said they want you to they want your method. They want your method because now I have, I then it was two festivals, and they just do things differently in Italy.
Mhm.
They give like 2 3 awards. I don't even know if they recognize the actors as much. It's more about the film and the director
Yeah, the
pretty much
process.
at the
Yeah.
end. So I give like 50 awards. you know?
Yeah, just because you're giving, you want to say, everybody
I
deserves
want
that. Yeah,
everybody to be recognized. So
right.
I give, there's a lot of categories, but how could I, leave any out? There's
Right.
so many, and there's
And you direct it so you know that it's a process, that it's not just the director. There's so many other people involved to make a great film.
I
You've got
I've
cinematography, you've
been,
got
I was behind the camera for many years. I was a makeup artist. And then I've always been in front of the camera too as an actress, but
right,
now I'm like doing both. And so I've been all over, in the entertainment world for so long. So yes, and I've made my own movie, so I know the process that it takes, and everybody counts.
right,
Everybody counts. So how do you just narrow it down to a couple of people? So
right.
the Proshida Festival is a quarterly festival. I've made my own, like a sister festival of theirs.
Hmm.
Because how could I really promote the one there? It was a little bit difficult with the language, and so I said, "How about if I do this? I'll give you my method, but I want my own festival. It'll be a quarterly festival. When whoever wins each quarter, or seasonal, they whoever wins, then
Goes,
they're nominated for the big festival for
it's
Pro,
great.
which is in September."
And you get a chance to go to Italy 4 times.
No, 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 no. It's only one time.
Oh, okay.
But they still get awards. They still win certificates, but and then they're nominated for the bigger festival in Procida. So I'm able to do that. So made another festival now I'm 3-time festival director. And I have a magazine, and I'm acting, and I'm doing a lot of things, but that
Right.
makes me happy. You have to keep busy, right?
Yeah.
And I've been certainly very busy during this time. How have you been faring through all this? The
I
COVID.
just get up every
That's
morning at
right. You
5 in the morning and I write. I'm almost done with another script.
there you go. I know a lot of actor friends and, writers and whatever. It's like, it hasn't really affected me because I'm always in front of the computer. I'm always writing or doing something.
You
Writers,
just keep creating.
and yeah, yep. So I think it's brought out a lot of creativity too. And we have to be hopeful for everything, right? So,
Yes.
yes. Well, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll see you during the Q&A.
Right.
Okay.
When will you just send me a message
That's
for that?
going to be either the Q&A or the awards. Yes. The awards are on the 8th. So,
All right.
okay.
Good.
Yeah, I think we could have like 300 people or something on
Oh,
at the
wow.
same time. I usually have like 600 people at my regular awards.
So you're going to have
But I'm going
Zoom?
to have a Zoom awards. It's
Wow.
going to be red carpet, so dress up.
I wear my tux.
Oh no, you don't have to go crazy. I'll be dressed up.
Yeah, I'm very dressed up now.
All right,
My
good.
shorts and my
As
t-shirt.
long as people maybe take a shower,
Yeah.
take a shower. That's good enough. Nobody will know. But yeah, I had a guy that told me, well, I'm not wearing any pants. I'm like, good. Well, that's good if you're comfortable that way.
Well, it's funny. In Jersey Fellini, the thing that happened really happened to me. I went into we had a shop together, me and my brother, and he says, Paul wants to talk to you. So I go, and he has a old answering service with the plugins. So I said, I go in and I've never been in the place, and I go, Paul, where's Paul? He goes, and she goes, so I look, and it's a small place, and she points down, and there's a hatch. I open up the hatch, I go down the stairs, and it's almost like being John Malkovich. I go down these like rickety stairs, and it's like this
Floor.
crazy. It was like this cement bunker underneath it, and he's got this big desk, and he's got all this stuff on it. He's got a toaster behind there, and I go, Paul, you want to talk? He goes, yeah. You want a cup of coffee? I said, yeah. He gets up, turns around. He's in his boxer shorts with these high black socks. This old Italian guy, and I'm like, this has got to go in the script. It's got to go in the script.
What a visual. That was great.
I just
tell that you're a writer because I just visualized the whole thing. That's great. God. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much again. And it was a pleasure talking to you. All right.
Love you too. I'll see you.
All right, I'll see you then. Bye. So welcome to Hi, I'm Katharina Michio. Welcome to Indie Film Online, and we are having our Venus Italian International Film Festival on June 6th and 7th, and the awards will be on Zoom as well on the 8th. And today we have fiore and for now and now and now I'm going to welcome Fiore del Rosa, and he has quite a few film scripts in the festival, including Hellgate, Evil in Sight, Fellini Jersey, Jersey Fellini, I think, and another one. He's got a few, and welcome. My name is Katharina Michio, and you're joining us on welcome. I welcome. I'm Katharina Michio, and you are joining us on Indie Film Online, and we are working up to our Venus Italian International Film Festival, which is happening in a week from yesterday. So it's June 6th and 7th, and the awards are going to be Zoomed as well. And I hope that everybody could join us for that. And my next guest is Fiore del Rosa, and he is a fantastic writer. He has, I think, 4 scripts in the festival, and we're going to talk to him now. Let's welcome him.